Cowboys' former star RB in danger of being cut, writer says. Ezekiel Elliott, who will turn 29 on July 22, is one of 11 Cowboys veterans who are in danger of not making the roster, according to Cowboys Wire's KD Drummond. Ezekiel Elliott not making the roster would, by far, be the most surprising outcome of this year's training camp, but it can't be wholly dismissed. On July 8, while there isn't another proven back on the roster, $1.6 million in guarantees isn't enough to guarantee a player a roster spot. Why Ezekiel Elliott will likely earn spot on Cowboys roster. While the argument that Elliott's spot isn't guaranteed is mentioned, Drummond does stress that a lot would have to happen for the Cowboys to actually release the former star running back before the season starts. It also helps Elliott's case that Dallas doesn't exactly have a lot of proven depth on its roster outside of veteran free agent signee Royce Freeman. The Cowboys' other running backs are Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn, and Malik Davis, who have combined for a total of 157 carries during their careers. There would just have to be so much to happen for this to come to fruition, Drummond wrote. A lackluster running back room would have to have at least 3 players jump up and grab the coaching staff's attention, and even then, Elliott would have to have zero juice left in the tank because his intelligence alone makes him a worthwhile stash even if he wasn't a regular part of the rotation. Why Cowboys have a need for Ezekiel Elliott. The Cowboys initially parted ways with Elliott during the 2023 offseason, cutting their starting running back to save money on the salary cap. He then signed with the New England Patriots, where he saw valuable playing time as a backup running back, posting 184 total carries for 642 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, and 3 touchdowns. He started the final 5 games of the season after Ramondre Stevenson suffered a season-ending injury. While Elliott clearly isn't the running back who could produce big runs that he was earlier in his career, he averaged 5.1 yards per carry during his rookie season in 2016, he still brings being a red zone threat to the equation. It was as recently as during the 2022 season that Elliott posted 12 touchdowns, ranking 5th in the league in the category. It's no secret that Dallas struggled with Tony Pollard as the starting back and Elliott out of the equation in red zone situations. Pollard not only ran for just 6 touchdowns, the Cowboys ranked 12th in red zone touchdown percentage after leading the league during the 2022 season with Elliott in the fold. That alone, combined with the affinity that the front office has for Elliott, Jerry Jones immediately left the door open for Elliott's return upon his release last year, should be enough to earn Elliott a spot on the 53-man roster. Barring an unforeseen development among the Cowboys' young running backs in training camp, expect Elliott to be around when Dallas kicks off the 2024 season against the Cleveland Browns. Latest on Cowboys D. Marshawn Kneeland. The Cowboys have Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence atop the edge rush depth chart, but the team has made recent draft investments at the position to add complementary options behind them. That effort included the selection of Marshawn Kneeland this spring. Dallas added Kneeland in the second round of April's draft, matching the round 2 selection of Sam Williams in 2022. The latter has served in a rotational capacity to date, but he could take on an increased workload this season. With Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler having followed Dan Quinn from Dallas to Washington, the defensive end pecking order will look somewhat different in 2024. That should open up playing time for Kneeland in a depth capacity. The Western Michigan product is 4th on the depth chart, behind Parsons, Lawrence, and Williams, Calvin Watkins of the Dallas Morning News writes. That comes as little surprise given his inexperience, although his college success suggests he could handle at least an early down role during his rookie campaign. Kneeland racked up 148 tackles, including 27.5 for loss, between 2020 and 23 with the Mustangs. That stretch included relatively underwhelming sack production, however. Kneeland totaled 13 sacks in his college career, and his largest statistical outputs came in 2021 and 23 with 4.5. The 6'3", 267-pounder profiles as a strong run defender, and carrying that skill set over to the NFL level should allow him to carve out a rotational role in certain defensive packages. Lawrence is entering the final year of his contract, while Parsons is on the books through 2025, although he is one of multiple high-profile extension priorities for the Cowboys. Williams has 2 years remaining on his rookie contract, and a strong showing this season could put him on the radar for an extension, keeping him in the fold for years to come. Nealand has plenty of time to establish himself as a regular contributor with the Cowboys, but for the time being he is not in line for a heavy workload. Dallas Cowboys: why Dak Prescott's injury update isn't helping team in betting market. Last week, a rumor in sports betting circles surfaced that Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott wasn't 100% this offseason. The rumor tanked the Cowboys' over-under win total for the 2024 season, and it hasn't returned to the pre-rumor level after ESPN's Todd Archer reported Prescott's sprained foot injury was minor, for a reason that will trouble Cowboys fans. Professional gambler Steve Fezzik with Pregame.com said last Tuesday on the Ross Tucker podcast that bets were coming in heavy for the under on the Cowboys' win total because of a rumor that Prescott recently had an MRI. Dak Prescott: news is he's not 100%, so they've been betting against the Cowboys the last 3 days. Dak Prescott had a minor injury. On Independence Day, photos appeared online of Prescott wearing a walking boot on his right foot, the same side that caused him to miss Week 6 through the rest of the 2020 season due to a compound fracture and dislocation of his right ankle. The sprained foot is reported to be a minor injury and is not expected to keep Prescott from being a full participant when training camp starts on July 25. GH contacted Fezzik for an update on the betting market for the Cowboys following the update on Prescott's injury. After all, the sports bettors broke the story. Fezzik said he had no insight to add to reports that Prescott's injury was minor. Sports bettors have no reason to think Prescott's injury will linger into the regular season. Sharp bettors, skilled sports bettors, took the rumor of Prescott having an injury as a freebie to hit the under because they were already low on the Cowboys' prospects this season. Frankly, we were down on Dallas anyways and a little high on Philly, so it was a no-brainer to fire with a free roll chance Dak might have a problem, Fezzik said. The Cowboys' season win total was 10.3 before Prescott's injury hit the sharp bettors' rumor mill. They bet the win total down to 10.1 before reports of Prescott's injury became public. The public then bet it down to 9.9, under 10, minus 120. It stabilized there. No moving back up, Fezzik said. The stabilization has more to do with how poorly bettors think the Cowboys will do this season and less with how they feel Prescott will perform regardless of the sprained foot. The sharp bet was for the Eagles to win the NFC East, Fezzik said. That bet isn't as good now, because many people have already hammered the Eagles. The key to winning sports betting is to get the best of the number, Fezzik said. You can't wait for a market to move significantly and then expect to win being the last one to bet it. Fezzik's point about the sports betting market sounds a lot like the free agent market, something Jerry and Stephen Jones didn't want to touch in the first wave. The Cowboys will likely concede the NFC East to the Eagles because they were the last to make any moves this offseason.